What's up, everybody? So I have been painting a ton of hummingbirds the last couple of weeks, and I'm really excited to share those with you in this video. This is just a bunch of clips of all the different birds I've been painting, all the different styles, and I'm going to talk through some of my techniques, some of my thoughts, and what I'm doing and how and why. So it all started with this one commission, and I had never actually painted a hummingbird before. I talked about this in my last video. You might have seen this little clip. So yeah, I just took a stab at painting a whole bunch of different hummingbirds. I think I painted like 6 or 7 to start out. Yeah, and that went really well. I actually sold like 4 of those, and which led to a whole bunch of interest and positive feedback. Found myself where I needed to create a whole bunch more hummingbirds for people who were interested in buying them. So that was really cool. Yeah, like I said in other videos, I don't really consider myself a realistic painter, but I do enjoy trying, and I do appreciate the skills. And I found that by smearing the paint like this, I could get this really neat motion blur effect where it looked like the wings were moving, which I thought was pretty awesome. I probably should be wearing gloves, but you live and learn. One of the main goals I had when I started these was to try and build up the paint really thick. I wanted to have these strokes of thick paint, I like the idea of having texture and giving it a little bit of depth. And other than that, it's pretty much one big experiment. I tried to stick with a similar color palette for all of these in the beginning, and I was pretty happy really with where I got with this. It was hard for me to replicate every single pose, if you want to call it a pose. It was hard for me to replicate the position of these birds over and over again, but I think I'm going to get better at that as I practice. The other thing I would note is that I was very intentional about the types of strokes I was using with the brushes. I wanted to have, thin lines, for these highlights, overlaying the blurry wing, and I wanted to make sure, that there was plenty of contrast between the different colors. And again, I feel pretty good about where I ended up with these. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Yeah, so once I got this first set done and the feedback was really, really positive, I was very encouraged to continue to make more of these. Here's the second set that I started on this past week, and I wanted to show a little bit about how I did the backgrounds for these. I like this idea of like a depth of field effect, like you see in a camera where the background is blurry and sort of abstract, and it creates a lot of depth, obviously, if you put something in front of that that's more in focus. I thought that you might like to see how I make these gradients. Even though I covered up most of these in the end, I do like these gradient effects that you can create by using a big wide brush and using two or three different colors at the same time. Yeah, so once I get all the backgrounds done, I can start thinking about the different birds that I want to put on top of them. I think one thing to note about painting this way is I really like the idea of being able to see all these individual paintings next to each other at the same time. And I try different approaches for these. I often do that, experimenting with different techniques. So with these guys, this was a specific request where the client wanted a certain color palette, and I started with white outlines, just freehand drawing. And although there was a pretty good response to these, I didn't love them, so I wiped them and started over. And I wish I would have recorded that. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't record painting over them because it was actually pretty satisfying to me and cathartic. But yeah, so I painted over those original birds and started fresh. And this is the second attempt, and I feel like there's a lot more energy and emotion and fluidity and just a better overall result this second time around. So I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments what you think. I think that I've been thinking about this quite often, this idea of not being precious with your work and being able to throw it out and start over. I find often that when I can do that, the result is better the second time or even third time around. So yeah, let me know if you guys have a similar experience. So I wanted to try at least one more realistic approach, and I feel pretty good about it. Like it could be better. I'm not trying to be hard on myself. I feel like it was a really good first attempt, and I'm excited about trying this some more. I want to give credit to the photographer whose photo I referenced for this particular image. His name is Thomas Magana. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he has some amazing work on Instagram. You guys, please go give him a follow, check him out. Yeah, so speaking of which, 95% of the people who watch my videos don't subscribe to my channel, and I'm not sure exactly how to interpret that data. Either my work isn't good enough yet to warrant people wanting to subscribe and stick around and come back and check out more, or people just don't think to subscribe. Either way, it really does help out my channel and my efforts. It helps support me as an artist if you have watched this far and you've watched my videos before, or if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you know, and where I'm going. I'd really appreciate it. I'd really appreciate it if you give me a like and subscribe and set notifications and all that good stuff that does actually help what I do. So anyways, sorry for that. Get that out of the way. Here I am continuing to just move all around. All of these are ideas that I had in my mind that I wanted to try from the start. And, you know, I basically am editing along the way and kind of taking pieces from one image and applying it to the next, mixing different styles together, just trying to have fun with it. And this approach here is a little bit of a combination of an abstract and realistic approach. And, you know, again, I think the results were actually pretty good with this one. You'll see in the end, you know, how these all turned out. And I'd love to hear, you know, what you guys think as far as what your favorites were, which ones you don't think are working. Let me know. I mean, it's all good. I have my own opinions, and you know, I think this exercise for me was very useful in that respect. But at the same time, you know, I need feedback. You know, and it's good to hear what other people think. I'm very close to the work since I made it. But so I just wanted to also share this idea about, you know, continuing to think about making radical changes as necessary. And I think, you know, again, seeing all of these next to each other really helps me decide when something needs to be, you know, pushed further. And there were elements of this painting here in particular that I really liked, and some of those got lost when I covered up the background, but I felt like it was necessary. There wasn't enough contrast between the bird in the background to really make it feel, you know, give it the feeling that I wanted. Same thing for this one here and this one as well. You know, it's like, again, it was fine the way it was, but I just feel like all of these weren't quite where I wanted them to be. They weren't up to the level that I felt like some of the other ones were. And so you know, you just have to be, in my opinion, you just have to be willing to keep pushing, cover it up, even throw it away if it doesn't work. This ended up being the most abstract bird I think that I did. You know, I was really pleased with it actually. It's very loose. It's very expressive. I feel like it reads as a bird, but at the same time it could read as something else. So yeah, this is how everything turned out, and I'm definitely going to be making more of these. There's been so much interest in them. That's really awesome, especially to hear when people actually love the work and it you know, it means something to them. That connection is huge for me. Yeah, just thanks for all the comments and all the feedback. I really appreciate it. All the support. It means a lot. Let me know what you think, and take care. Peace.